Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to this Schott Music Publishers Showcase. I'm Samantha Ward and I'm Artistic Director of Piano Week, and I'm extending a huge welcome to our Piano Week participants who are on our course this week, doing our online course, and also to those who are watching externally who are new to Piano Week. So I'm really thrilled to be talking to you today about Schott Music Publications. I've actually been working for Schott for about a decade now, would you believe? I started way back in 2010, recording for them actually. Somebody had suddenly pulled out of a recording of the classical piano method, and I was asked to take it over at quite last minute, and from then on I've been recording for them very frequently, right up until summer last year. Today I'm going to be showing you a huge number of publications, as many as I can possibly fit into this seminar. I'm going to try and whip through as many books as I possibly can. On their dedicated website for this seminar, Schott have actually put a tremendous amount more publications, so sadly I won't be able to show all of them to you today. But I'm going to try to show you some of my personal favourites, and also some children's books and some adults books, and also things in between, just so that you can get an idea of the cross-section of brilliant editions that Schott have. I think one of the things I love most about Schott actually is that you can find anything in their catalogue. So whether you want to play Bach or Scarlatti maybe, or maybe some Mozart or some Chopin, or something far more contemporary, even written up to the last few months, it's all there. So I think that's absolutely fantastic that whatever you want to play, whatever style, whatever genre, you'll be able to find some pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share for you now the dedicated web page for us. And everybody watching this seminar today is going to get a 20% discount on any of the books that they purchase on the following sites. So if you just give me 1 second just to screen share it for you. There we go. And there it is. So this is Schott Music London's Piano Week page, and if you just read here, it says there's a special 20% discount on the selected items below, and they're also offering free postage, which is super. And then there's a discount code Piano Week 2020, so if you just use that at checkout on any of the editions. So as I say, sadly I can't show you all of the editions today, but I'm going to do my best to show you as much as I possibly can within their catalogue. And I will show you this website again at the end, just so that you can become more familiar with it, and also once you've seen some of the books. So I was going to actually screen share the entire webinar today, but then I thought better of that. I think it's a little bit more personal and perhaps a little nicer if you see the books, and I'll play you excerpts from them. You can see the layout, and it's just a little nicer perhaps to see me and to have it a little bit more personal rather than me screen sharing all the pieces. But I will show some if you just type it into the question and answer. If you'd like to see some of the editions, I can always show you some of the screenshots of what the books look like on screen share at the end. If you just pop it in the question and answer. So the first books I want to talk to you about are some of the children's books. So again, I'm barely scraping the surface of how many of these Schott have. They're all absolutely fantastic. And I'm just going to show you some of them today. And we're starting with very, very, very young children, and we're going to be going through to slightly older children, slightly more advanced players. So the first book I would like to show you is the Piano Junior selection. Now I actually recorded all of these. There are actually 4 levels, and we did them over 4 years. And this is written by Hans Günther Heumann, who is one of Schott's most prolific composers. He's fantastic. All of his books are wonderful. Piano Junior is one of my favourites because although Hans Günther himself said that this was for age 6 and upwards, actually I've used them with children as young as 4. And the reason it's so good, I think, is because it stays on a very, very basic level, you know, particularly good for young children, for a very long time. So the progression of the book is not too fast. In fact, I think it's perfect for young children. I'm going to explain what kangaroo hop is in a minute, but one of the features I love about this book, in particular, the level 1 Piano Junior, is the fact that he gets the children playing the piano at a very, very young and very basic level, young age and basic level, before they've even learned anything about notation or rhythm, either on the piano or in written text. So that's fantastic. So they plunge straight in. I'm going to show you a little bit about how he does that. So kangaroo hop, for instance, which I'm going to play now. All he's asking here is that the child play the groups of 3 black notes up the piano. So they just find the groups of 3 black notes and play them. So just like that. So that's really nice. So of course you can imagine the very young child, and maybe some adults too, enjoying that. And then what I was talking about in terms of children playing and before learning notation, we have an example here of Old MacDonald Had a Farm. And what he's done is actually written out a diagram of the piano. So we haven't learned any crotchets, minims, quavers, or any notes at this point. But what he has done is written some fingers on a diagram of a piano. So if you follow his fingerings, you get Old MacDonald Had a Farm. Etc., etc. But it's not written with any notation, which is great. And for your more nervous beginner, or for a very young child starting out, if they're feeling a little bit shy about getting to the piano for the first time and playing on their own, particularly maybe if it's a teacher concert, then there's a little teacher accompaniment. So that's nice for the young child to be able to have that little bit of support next to them if they're just starting out on their first steps. So that's Piano Junior Level 1. I would like to show you Piano Junior Level 4 now. So Level 4 Piano Junior Performance Book, again by Hans Günther Heumann. This is for the slightly more advanced pupils. So by this point we've got up to roughly grade 4 ABRSM level, grade 4 to 5 perhaps in this book. The performance books at each level are designed for performance. So whereas in the lesson books at each stage, where you've got lots of teaching notes and practice notes and lots of hints and tips to help you, these books, performance books, and also the duet books in each level are just pieces. So there's very little guidance, because by this point you've gone through quite a few books already with all those helpful hints. So this book is full of lots of nice pieces. I would just like to say at this point, although Piano Junior is obviously directed at children, I've used these books with adult beginners as well. And as long as the adult's got a sense of humour and doesn't mind the illustrations, or at least enjoys them, then these are excellent books for adults as well. The progression, as I say, is excellent. It's very clear. The print is very big on the page, so it's not in the slightest bit overwhelming for any age beginning the piano. So I'd like to play you Allegro non troppo from the performance book 4, and then we'll talk a little bit afterwards. So I'm only really able to show you a few pieces that I want to today. But this is a great example, I think, of how Schott often includes pieces which are specific to a certain technique, but nicely hidden amongst really great repertoire. So for example, a child learning this, of course, is learning about right-hand control of chords, while a left-hand melody is projecting. So they might not know they're learning that, but they certainly are. And that happens a lot in many, many Schott pieces, which I think is fantastic. There are loads and loads of technique and different aspects of technique which appear in all sorts of different pieces, and it's nicely hidden. I'm going to touch more on that later in some of the etude books. But a great way, I think, of getting children, in particular, to practice different techniques by way of nice pieces. So we're still on children's books for a while. This is the classical piano method that I also recorded. This was the first one I recorded for Schott back about a decade ago now. Also by Hans-Günter Heumann. He's such an excellent writer for children, and all his pieces are just superb. This is the method book 1. This book actually has slightly fewer illustrations, so again perfect for a child and an adult. Again, very clear print. The progression is very steady, very well suited to a young learner, a beginner. The pace doesn't quicken too fast. Lots of sort of household names in terms of composers, and lots of famous pieces, many of which are transcribed into a simpler version by Hans-Günter himself. And this is an example of it, and of course kids love this because it's Beethoven's Turkish March, which everyone will know, but it's very much simplified, and a child can easily digest this and play it in a relatively short space of time. So here it is, it's Beethoven's Turkish March from the classical piano method, and it's arranged by Hans-Günter Heumann. So I like that because although it's a very simple piece for a beginner, there's also a slight shift of hand position, so he's just moving out of one place and back again. And there are lots of jazzy pieces, famous pieces, lots of his pieces in these books. So another great collection alongside Piano Junior for beginners. So I'm now moving on to more advanced children. This is called Galaxy Piano. There are also others called Go Your Own Way, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and Fantasy Piano as well. And in each of these books, Hans-Günter Heumann again, he's so good, he has produced these wonderful pieces, completely in keeping with the title of the book. So with Galaxy Piano, of course, it's all about space and aliens and the stars. And again, I recorded this last summer, and I just thought it was wonderful the way he managed to capture this sort of space feeling for children in these books. Wonderful, I think, to get children interested in the piano. And also, you know, if you've got a child who's doing lots of exams, and, you know, sometimes that can get maybe a little bit tedious, and maybe they just want some other repertoire to go alongside their exams, then these kind of books are fantastic. So Galaxy Piano, Fantasy Piano by Hans-Günter Heumann. I'd like to play one. I might start cutting pieces a little bit just so I can get through as many as possible. So if it's a long piece, I might just play some of it. But this is Encounter with Aliens, and I think you'll appreciate it. So I'm sure you can all see why that's a very popular one amongst my pupils, and yes, lots of people that I know have found this one particularly popular amongst children. Just in the same sort of vein, I'd just like to show you Go Your Own Way as well, which is the final children's book. So this is Go Your Own Way, again by Hans-Günter Heumann, and this is a selection of emotional piano pieces. So you really have got all the human emotions in this book. And again, they're so popular with children, especially children who aren't that, you know, particularly bothered about playing classical music. Maybe their parents want to learn the piano, or maybe they just want to play for a bit of fun. These pieces are perfect. And again, you know, if they're also doing Mozart, Beethoven, that kind of thing, these are refreshingly different and really just great to learn and great to perform for children. Again, this book has proved extremely popular with everyone I've encountered in the last few years. So I'm going to play for you Bravery. It's one of the favourites that I've found. I think because it's quite powerful sounding. It's quite intense. Children really like it for that reason, I think. And I think there's an element of it perhaps sounds more difficult than it actually is. So it's great. And this has been played in actually quite a few Piano Week concerts in the past. So this is Bravery by Hans Günther Heumann. And let's be honest, for adults as well, I think it's really good fun to play. So that brings me to the end of talking about children's books. I'd now like to just touch a little bit on technique books, sight reading and studies. Schott have found a remarkable way of making sight reading accessible and not so terrifying in their books by John Kember. I just think these books are super. I think everyone associates sight reading with sort of terror, nerves, not knowing what to expect. And for me, they're broken down in such a wonderful way that all that element of frustration and sort of being scared with sight reading is no longer there with these kind of books. So John Kember is another one of Schott's big authors. And it's Piano Sight Reading 2, I'm just playing from you for book 2 today. He's written 1, 2, 3 and also more piano sight reading, so they just get harder in level as they go up. I think the thing that I like about these sight reading books is that we've got all sorts of different chapters in them. And I can actually screen share this at the end if you'd like me to. Things like position changes, key signature changes, hand positions, time signatures, you name it, but he does it in a very slow way, so we don't get multiple changes of different things all at once. We get one key change, so one flat, and then a hand position change, and then one sharp and a hand position change, so it's nice steady changes, and before you know it, you're playing quite difficult pieces. And then he's written top tips. You can probably see the text here actually. He's written top tips on sight reading. Which I think makes a huge difference, so it's not just a series of pieces that you've got to just sit down and be hit with. He's helping, how to approach it. And as we go through each stage, he throws in different sort of ways in which you can practice and help yourself with sight reading and to make it easier and a more pleasant experience. So I will screen share that if anyone would like to see it at the end. And that's Piano Sight Reading 2. I'm actually seeing that I'm getting quite a few comments already. I'm just going to answer a few just now because they're getting a little bit backlogged. Heumann books. Yes! Oh, so I'm being asked if the Heumann books can be useful for... Yes, wow, blind children. Oh, I don't know, actually. That's a very good question. I need to ask about that. That's a very good... I don't know whether they're done in Braille, I'm not sure. They are fantastic books, and yes, I'm just answering the question, yes, absolutely. Totally suitable for 8 and 9-year-olds. They're really great. Yeah, totally. And even younger, age 4. I will certainly come back to you about whether they can be used for blind children as well, and let you know. And could I share a screenshot of the sight reading? Yes, of course. So here goes, sharing the screen now. I'm sorry, this takes a few seconds. And we go in here and yeah, there's a screenshot of the sight reading that I've just played. So I'll just let you have a quick look at that. So around the top here, number 40, we've got those top tips just above it. And then on the next page, we've got some other helpful hints. So that's kind of what the book looks like all the way through. It's really fantastic. All 4 of his books are fantastic, actually. They're just brilliant. Great. So, just carrying on in that kind of way, with technical exercises. Again, like sight reading, I think if somebody were to face, a technical exercise, especially if it's a child, I don't think they'd necessarily enjoy it. I think the idea of putting, Czerny or Berenger in front of a child, I think they get a bit despondent. And again, Schott have knocked this on the head. They have made technical exercises much more interesting by turning technical aspects into pieces, so technical things that everyone needs to practice into pieces rather than just plain studies and exercises. That's been done in these books, Finger Fitness in particular. Again, they're aimed mainly at children, but adults can use them. They're fantastic books. I'm going to show you this, the little meeting, because I'm sure you've all found in your own studies and also dealing with younger children as well, it's very difficult to get somebody to play 2 notes together on the piano, really together. They're very often slightly out or uneven. But not many people want to sit down and practice double third scales on their own. So we have 2 in 1 here. We have a lovely little tune, but it's all about double thirds. So I'll just play you a little bit of it. Your double thirds and more as well on the second page. So a perfect way to practice double thirds. I'm going to press on a little bit just because we haven't got that much time and I want to get on to some adult pieces. So again, I'm not really doing these in any particular order. I have gone through the adult pieces that's listed on Schott's website, the webpage for Piano Week, and I have just sort of cherry-picked ones that I just want to show you. So they're not in any particular order. I just want to show you the wide range of repertoire that Schott have within these books, and also the huge variety of editions that they have, really from the classics to right through to contemporary pieces, jazz, boogie, rock and roll, you name it, it's all there. It's just a pity I can't show you it all today, but the expanse is huge of Schott's publications. It's just, humongous. I would like to show you this book, and again I can screenshot anything you'd like at the end if you'd like to see it, but it's Piano Classics, and it's on the web page, and it's exactly what it says on the front. So this is all your standard classics, not too hideously difficult, so intermediate level classics, Bach, Satie, Beethoven, Schubert, just lovely pieces that we all know and love, quite famous. So just your standard sort of piano repertoire book. One of the pieces I'd like to show you is Beethoven's Bagatelle from this book. It's a gorgeous piece this. I won't play it all because it's quite long, but it's a household favourite, I think. composers and all your favourite pieces. So that's that one. I'm just going to check the question and answer in case anyone has asked. No, we're still on the same questions. Okay, good. Okay, this is another similar book, and again, it's your favourite pieces by your favourite composers in a really nice anthology. I'm just going to play one of my favourites from it, and it's Tchaikovsky's Sweet Dream. So as you can see, the pieces in these books are around ABRSM grade 5, 6, 7 standard. And they're just, as I say, a lovely selection of all our favourites. So that's that. I'm just pressing on because I'd like to show you as many as possible. So now I'm going to do a bit of shameless self-promotion. This is my Relax With series, and there are 6 books in this series. So we have Baroque and Classical, Romantic, French Impressionist, Folk, and recently Meditative Piano. So this is my romantic book, Relax With Romantic Piano. Now what I've tried to do in these books is to obviously make all the pieces as relaxing as possible. But within the Romantic era, I have tried to introduce as many pieces as possible, both by famous composers that we haven't heard, these particular pieces before, but also less well-known composers who've written some beautiful pieces that I actually haven't heard, as well as some of the classics that we all know and love as well. I just wanted to have a little bit of a mixed bag and introduce lots of pieces that are out there that are hardly ever played and heard, that are equally as fantastic as others that are more famous. One of those such pieces is this by Hofmann, and it's called In the Evening, and you might think this is Schumann, but it's not, but it's a very similar sort of style. So just to give you an example. So there are quite a few of those pieces in this book, ones which hopefully some of you have never heard, and just introducing a little bit of new repertoire, sometimes by new composers that we might not have heard of, and sometimes by all the famous composers, but perhaps some of their lesser known works. And one more little bit of self-promotion here. It's the other one, the meditative piano, so it's the second out of 6, Relax With. So this one has actually got pieces from all eras in it, including a couple of my own compositions. And I've tried to span, as much as possible in terms of composers right back to the Baroque, right up to the modern day. So meditative piano, and I'd just like to play this piece from it. This is obviously one of the more famous pieces in the book, and it's Schumann's Child Falling Asleep. I'll just play a little bit because it's quite long. So far, even though it's entitled Child Falling Asleep, it hasn't worked on our daughter, who hasn't yet fallen asleep with this. Quite the opposite, in fact. Okay, so moving on. This is totally different now. Schott have done this series of books that are all about folk music, folk piano, and folk melodies from around the world, transcribed by various people for solo piano. And again, another fantastic series. So in the English ones, for instance, we've got Country Gardens and just wonderful folk tunes, all of them transcribed in a brilliant way. I've just chosen this one, which is Melodies of China. Again, if it's not clear here, I can show you a screenshot at the end, share the screen. A beautiful book, and again, children are really interested in this. It's more advanced. They're really interested in it because it's something so different from what they're used to. And I'd like to play you Jasmine, which is the first piece in the book. I'll play the whole thing. I think it's quite an effective piece. It's just something new. So I love some of the twists and turns with the harmony in that piece. It's just lovely. It doesn't go where you expect. There are lots of nice clashes which then resolve themselves. So that's definitely a book to have a look at. And I've just seen there's a question, please can you screen share this? So yes, absolutely. Let me just do that now. To keep my eye on the questions and answers. I can't sadly answer everything, but I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. So here we go, Schott webinar, and there it is. Melodies of China, published by Schott. So maybe at the end I can actually just screen share you all of them. You can have a quick look. Okay, great. So moving on, again we're going into a different repertoire now. I love this book, Modern Piano. It's in the pianissimo range. Now Schott have a lot in this range, and they're all quite thick, bulky books, so they're really great if you really want to sink your teeth into lots of new repertoire. I like this one. It's modern piano, but again, as Schott does so well, this is not, you know, a lot of contemporary pieces that don't sound very nice. They're all absolutely fantastic. They all sound lovely, and they're all fantastic works, every single one. I mean, I use this book a lot. It's 20th century jazz, blues, pop, crossover, new age, and meditation music. I didn't know which piece to play from this book, honestly, today. We've got foxtrots in there, we've got calypso, salsa, tango, blues, boogie, rock and roll, contemporary, sort of romantic as well, pieces in a way. We've also got some classical pieces that are transcribed in a jazzy way, which are quite interesting. But I thought I'd play you this one. It's Kleiner Tango, Little Tango, by Fritz Emmons, and I just love this piece. It's one of the easier ones in this book. The standard does go up to quite a, you know, sort of grade 8 diploma kind of level. So this is one of the easier ones, but really nice, just maybe to give you an idea. So I think you're getting an idea of the huge variety of pieces that Schott offers in their pieces. But definitely have a look at the Pianissimo range. They're a great series of books. There's also a big etude book, which I will show you today if there's time, but there might not be because I'm trying to get through as much as possible. But the big etude book in the Pianissimo range, is full of, you know, a huge number of studies and etudes. And again, it's not an intimidating study book. It's full of nice melodies which happen to have, you know, lots of technique within them. So that's that one. I can see the questions and answers just filling up a little bit. Oh dear, where are we up to? Oh, there are lots. Okay. Yes. Could I try it on my neighbour's daughter, child falling asleep? Absolutely. Hasn't worked with me so far though. And yes, the piano classics books do cover all genre, yes. I'm just answering as many questions as I can. Yes, and Piano Junior, it goes up to about grade 4 or 5 and it starts right at the very beginning, and there are 4 levels of books. This is Piano Junior again, so 4 levels of books, so very beginners right up to grade 4, 5, ABRSM. Okay, continuing then. Schott's alternative repertoire. This is Nacht und Traume, so Night and Dreams book. This is by Monica Twelsiek. I love this book because again she's managed to incorporate in this lots of pieces that we know and love by famous composers, and of course they're all very sort of nocturnal and almost sort of lullaby-esque in a sense. But also, Schott has managed to include, again, you know, these wonderful jazzy and bluesy pieces within it as well. So you've got this whole variety of different repertoire, and hopefully a lot of it you've never seen before, but it's all super. So I'm going to play you John Kember's Midnight Blue. John Kember, again, one of Schott's big writers. I love his works. His jazz pieces are fantastic. You can find them everywhere, actually. There'll be a lot of his books on the dedicated webpage if you have a look. So this is his Midnight Blue. So that was John Kember's Midnight Blue. You might already be feeling like you're being lulled into going to sleep now. I just saw quite a few questions coming up Are there other blues pieces in this book? Yes, a lot of other blues pieces, yes, as well as in other books published by Schott, particularly by John Kember. So yes, you can find a lot. In fact, there's another blues piece on the opposite page even to the one I just played. Yep, okay. So, just my final book that I'd like to show you. I'd like to show you about 100 more. But this is another book by John Kember, and it's his ragtime book. So again, alternative repertoire for children or for adults. Something completely different to your normal Beethoven and Mozart books. And I'm just going to play for you Keystone Rag. So of course we all know and love Scott Joplin. But I think John Kember's just as great, honestly. I think it's fantastic, and this is one of my favourites, Keystone Rag. So if you have fallen asleep after Midnight Blue, this will wake you up again. So that was Keystone Rag by John Kember, and I think you'll agree that's a fantastic little number to be practicing. This brings me almost to the end of my seminar now, but I think that no seminar or webinar as this one might be, is complete without a little bit of humour. And I know it's the wrong time of year, but I thought you'd all forgive me because I just love Schott's Christmas selections. Particularly this one by Uwe Korn, Christmas Meets Jazz. Again, I will show you the screenshots. And I just thought I had to throw this one in at the end. It's a jazzed up version of Deck the Hall, so when it comes to December, make sure you stock up on Schott's Christmas collections, because there are a lot like this, sort of jazzy Christmas. But I just thought I'd show you this one as a bit of a laugh at the end. So something to amuse your family with come December. I hope you've really enjoyed this webinar today. I've certainly enjoyed giving it, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about the Schott editions. I'm just going to check, just in case there are any more questions and answers, just here on my screen before I end. Yes, I can certainly let you know the name of of all the composers basically from today. And it's John Kember. In fact, I will just write that down because a lot of people have asked about the ragtime piece, John Kember. There it goes. And I think I might just show you this Schott website once more, because I know that was quite brief at the beginning. So let's go with screen share just to show you the website where you can purchase these great books again at a discounted price. Excuse me while I just get that going. There it is. So it's shottmusiclondon.com/piano week. So hopefully you can see that there. So shottmusiclondon.com/piano week. So there are all the editions there that I've played today and more, many more. If you have any questions, please get in touch. Just to let you know, for those who are watching outside of Piano Week, Piano Week is the festival that I run. You can actually see the Schott seminar up there on our webpage. So we're at pianoweek.com, so please do get in touch if you'd like to know any more, and also to ask any questions you have about today's webinar. And just because quite a few people have asked it in the chat, I'm actually going to show you the entire list today of the pieces that I've been showing you. So there it is. We've got Piano Junior, the Classical Piano Method, Galaxy Piano, Go Your Own Way, and then we've got the sight reading, the finger fitness, the big book of etudes, which I actually didn't play from. Just running out of time a little bit, and I thought you'd like to see the pieces. And then we've got the 2 Piano Classics books, and then my 2 Relax With books, Chinese Folk Tunes books, the the Modern Piano, and then Nachtung Trauma, Ragtime, and of course Christmas to finish. And I've just got the sight reading there again, just in case anybody wants to see it, because there have been quite a few questions about the sight reading book. And this is again by John Kember, who also did the Ragtime, and it's piano sight reading books by John Kember, and it's 1, 2 and 3, and also more piano sight reading. So there we go, and that's the book again, just so you can have a look. And that's, yeah, book 2. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and I really hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Goodbye from me.